What's up, everyone? I think I'm just messing with the levels right now. All right, let's see here. It's not picking that up at all. It's not weird. There we go. Let me turn this down. What's up, everyone? Oh, I gotta do the chat. Give me a sec. Forgot to do the chat part. Doing it now. I see you guys. I see you guys. Give me a sec. Let's see here. This is the most important part of the stream. It's not even me. It's you guys. It's this part right here. What's up, Hamoon? What's up with this chat? All right, there we go. Hamoon, what's up, dude? Big fan of Mando and Grogu. Wish they had lowered the SR price. 70 gems is high in current market. Yeah, 70 is pretty high, but I will say, I mean, they know it's very sought after, especially the SR version, right? So, I mean, at this point, and plus there's only 1,000. I think there's like 970 or something like that after the, I think it's after the amount like Veve like withholds for themselves or whatever. So I think it's like 970 or something like that. So it's less than 1,000 Grogu. Same thing with Mando, right? 70 gems is a lot, but I think that in and of itself also kind of gate keeps people out. So yeah, like the price is high, so it just kind of comes down to like, are you going to buy it or not? I still think everything is like within manageable amounts. I mean, heck, even I remember when Veve did those like those Aston Martin drops. Remember those were worth like like hundreds, and I think there was one drop that was worth 1,000, wasn't it? Let me look it up. Aston Martin. There we go. Yeah, so yeah, so the price of these were, I don't know if you guys remember, 307 gems was the price for these, for the box price. And then this one, because there was only a couple of these, right? There was only 7 of these, but there was 100. The price for this was 1,007 gems. So it just kind of reminded me of that time a long time ago where the box prices were getting a little ridiculous. So, Adrian, what's up, dude? Thanks for stopping by. I know everyone's excited today, right? Bitcoin hit 100K. Everyone's excited. Everyone's logged into their crypto wallets, maybe for the first time in a while. You know, now they're like looking around at stuff and getting new recommendations on YouTube and all that stuff. At least I am. I don't know about you guys, but there. All right, there. The music should be playing. I'm having some issues. This is like more of a test stream, by the way, so like the levels are gonna be weird. I'm still like figuring out like the lighting and stuff because it does seem pretty dark in the back, so I might think of another way to kind of like eliminate the back so you guys can like see the comics a bit easier and stuff, or you know, it doesn't matter. So mostly just turn on the stream, hanging out with you guys, and just talking about whatever, especially all the drops. I mean, I got a lot of stuff queued up that we can talk about, stuff on Stacker. Candy's been super active too. I don't know if you guys have been on Candy recently, or if you guys follow this Twitter account that notifies you every time there's like a big sale. That's kind of a good signifier of like activity. Candy has had a lot of sales, and I think last I checked, the floor for a lot of the cows have gone up too. Because I remember at one point there were almost like 100, if not like less than 100, and now I think the cheapest cow you can get is like 170 or 180 or something like that. So plus all the Mando Grogu information here. Sometimes I like to just double check the page one more time in case I forget anything, like usually like a day before or like the morning of the drop. At least I try to if I wake up early enough, because sometimes I always forget, like, you know, whether it's, especially if there's like a craft thing going on or something like that. Execu Speak, what's up, dude? Member for 36 months. Let's go, dude. Zeki Speak has been here since the beginning. Welcome back. I got to do something special for like you, Pixel Trader, and I think there's like one other person. You guys have been here since like the beginning. You know, since I started. Yeah, probably about that long ago, if not a little bit further ago. So, Pasternak, what's up, dude? Finally, where have you been? Just busy with life and all that stuff. Work's been busy. Tax season, it just all that. Now that that's kind of behind us now, it's gotten a bit easier. But now I'm kind of playing catch up. Plus, I've been moving too. This is like a new space and all that stuff, so I've been kind of setting stuff. We need vibes. Yes, we do. G Money, always lurking. Thanks for stopping by. Pixel Trader says sneaky vibes. Yeah, this one was just kind of like a stealth stream. See who actually has the notifications on. You know what I mean? You going for the Star Wars drops? Yes, definitely. I think what I'm gonna do. So I'll just tell you guys up front like what my plan is. I'm ignoring these two. Nothing against these two. I mean, I think I might pick one of these up if I only get like one Grogu, or if I don't, for whatever reason, get no Grogus at all. Because again, there's only 1,000 of these, and I do think, you know, now that there's a lot of activity going on in the news and people are pretty positive about crypto, or at least they have been, right? You know, there could be more people going for this drop than normal. So, you know, at that point, you're asking, like, should you use MCP points? But my plan is I'm going to go for both of these and just kind of see what happens and just buy as many as I can of, obviously favoring Grogu. But if I can maybe get, you know, 2 of each, or, you know, 2 Grogu and 1 Mando, like, I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, if for whatever reason I just can't secure the SR and it's just going too much in the secondary, then yeah, I'll go for maybe one of these. It's only 20 gems. And you can buy all of these individually, I believe. There's no blind box in this, so you can just buy whichever one you want individually. So you can technically just put yourself in all of them, I guess. That's probably what I'm going to end up doing if it'll let me to do that. Just not queue up, but basically wait your list yourself for all of them. See which ones you get offered and just kind of, you know, make your decisions from there. Is it just me or is the sound low? If I need to turn myself up, let me know. But I should be. I could turn on the music if it's getting too loud. But for me, my mic sounds fine. Man, so bummed I didn't got the Addiction airdrop today. Didn't make the screenshot. I have all the 18 covers and even the Addiction 2 Unlimited art. Yeah, dude, that happened to me with the Battlestar Galactica drop. I remember, like, I just completely forgot that there was like an airdrop going on, and I forgot to buy the ship in time, and I thought I bought it in time or like in the window or something like that, but I guess I didn't, and I just like completely lost out on it. So like, not only did I just kind of like buy the ship for no reason, then I had to go purchase the SR in the secondary market for even more. So yeah, I feel your pain. That's unfortunate. My collectible says nicely done vibes. What's up, dude? I did resubmit my. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I didn't submit it initially, but I did resubmit my affiliate thing today. So, just giving you guys a heads up. But thanks for hanging out. Yeah, I'm also curious. Just throwing it out there. There's something going on with these Beskar ingots. I think you do get them for free, so that's actually one nice thing. This is actually, you get like a 2-for-1, right? If you get the armor, which is also only 30 gems, right? It's not 70, it's a little bit more than 20, and still only 2,000 of these. So I'm actually going to get one of these too. I do want an armor, and that way I can get the Beskar ingot, and I do have a feeling, because it's still early enough in the month, right? It's only the 10th, and you know, and all of their things is and more, right? And I think Veve typically with these events like to do one kind of surprise announcement at some point. So I do think there's something going on with these ingots. Either you got to craft a helmet or make a thing. I'm trying to remember what was in the show. What did they craft for him in the show? I forgot. It's been so long since I haven't seen any of season like 2 or 3. I forgot how many seasons there are in. So I did watch the first season for sure. I just kind of forgot. I remember he had that Beskar ingot and he had the armor craft something. I just forgot what piece of armor that was. All in on Mando. Yeah, I mean, I think people are so focused on Grogu. I mean, you know, you might be able to get like 2 Mandos for 1 Grogu, and that's not a bad deal. But yeah, Mando's cool. I really liked Mando. I will say in the show, my favorite, I loved the first like 4 or 5 episodes where he, didn't say much. It was kind of just the typical, Mandalorian bounty hunter that doesn't say much, just kind of speaks with actions and intent. Then eventually, like, took his helmet off and all that stuff. So, like, I get we want to introduce ourselves to the character, but I thought he was so much cooler when he was just kind of anonymous. I think they could have dragged that out for at least like a season, or most of the season. Yo, Grogu hype. Yeah, Grogu is. Everyone loves Grogu, right? Where's he at? Oh, he's right here. See, I got my own Grogu from a long time ago. I forgot where I even got this from. I think I got it 2 or 3 Christmases ago or something like that when the show was obviously really popular, so. So I got my Grogu. I just maybe I need to find a place to set him up, or they'll just levitate behind me. See, Execu speaks back. All the old names are back. All the old heads. All the Veve old heads hanging out in chat. The armor. Okay, was it a shoulder piece? Like a pauldron or like a wrist? Like a gauntlet? I'm trying to remember what it was. I think it was a shoulder piece if I remember right. If I recall correctly, it was for making his Mando armor, but it's been a while since, yeah. #1 fan here. Is that a new filming backdrop you got going on there? Which one is your favorite comic up there? I got quite a few. I can show a couple of them off. I really like these bottom two. Sorry for the mic. So this one on the bottom is actually it's the first full appearance. Is it the first full appearance of Batman Who Laughs? This is my first comic ever, and so one of my good friends gifted it to me, and so he's the one that told me about Veve and all that kind of stuff, and so yeah, so this is like my first comic ever, so that's pretty special to me. I'll say for my first graded comic. I'll say that it's not my first comic ever. My first graded comic, and this one is obviously just the Veve version, the Addiction comic. I got the red one up there too. I also got a 9.8 X-Men 97 up there too. So I got a couple other graded ones. I do want to possibly expand it to like 6 or 8 or whatever else is up there. But yeah, these are my favorite 4. So I just put those up there. If they're off center, I'll just fix them after the stream. And if you guys have OCD, you'll just have to kind of deal with it. Sorry, not sorry. But yeah, thanks, Kristen, for hanging out. Yeah, Michael just Grogu. Yeah, Grogu's going to be an interesting drop. I think it'll all sell out. Might take a little bit for Din Djarin here, but I do think armor is going to have a good chance of selling out. Both secret rares are going to sell out pretty quickly. I mean, I think they're all going to do it by the end of the day, but we'll see how it plays out. I thought we were going to talk about this a little bit later in the stream, but hey, we just talked about it now. Why not? MC's Grogu wants some friends. Yeah, we need a Grogu group, a little clan of in like Discord and all that stuff, do airdrops to each other. But yeah, actually the other thing too I noticed is I think Veve's withholding less of these drops. I don't know if you guys can tell, but remember like 41 mint used to be the lowest. Now it's only 21. So it does seem like Veve is kind of taking less of these, and the public mints are much lower than what they were before. I'm telling you right now, there's something going on with this Beskar ingots. So. Not financial advice, of course, but... Alright, let's check out the market. What are you guys' plans for the Grogu drop? I feel like, obviously everyone wants Grogu, but I'm kind of curious about like the armor and some of the other like lower rarity ones. And the fact that it's not blind box too, that's also an interesting choice as well. And I I probably kind of like that a bit more. I think the reason why Veve actually made the price a bit higher is because it's not blind box. It could be, I don't know. But I do kind of like that method where it's like, all right, if you want to guarantee the secret rare or the highest rarity, you know, it's going to cost a little bit of gems. Oh, we're on the market though. Yeah, we're already on the market page. You know, I really want to get these. I want to buy these. I just don't know if they're in the Veveverse yet. But these like fish, like inflatable man thingies, I think they'd be hilarious to use in the Veveverse if they actually like moved and all that stuff. I think one of them's animated. I don't know if they're all animated. Looks like we got Elsa here. Let me zoom in a bit. I know this is like very small. There we go. Oh wow, we actually got a 4-digit Elsa on the floor. Or like a pretty low mint, you know, like 4-digit. I do think Elsa, I mean, all the gold moments are going to do well. I think on Veve. Wow, that is really zoomed in. Or maybe I'll have to adjust it. Stormtroopers actually just dropped not too long ago. Have those sold out? Because I do know that, oh my gosh, it's not Mr. MC1, but there's someone in the community that actually has 2 of like the Mint 77s of the special editions, and they're trying to get the last one. That makes me wonder how many are left. Okay, so it's a little over half sold. So there's like 40% left. Maybe a little bit more, like 45% of these. So these aren't even sold out, but it could sell out over the next month. Anything about the comics section? Of course, some more Star Wars comics are being sold because, you know, it is Star Wars month. I remember this one did have quite a few secret rares, if I remember right. I think this one did actually have like 1,977 secret rares, I believe. I remember this comic was kind of a weird one where it did have a kind of an unusually high amount of secret rares. Yeah, and like 44k mints. Still really cool covers, right? A lot of these are different covers, or I should say posters, or art design for the comic. There we go. Do have a first appearance of Iron Man. Wow. The secret rare is almost at 900 gems, or $900. That is a very cool cover. Ultra rare, yeah, 129 gems. Wow, that's a big fall off. I do think that the disparities in, I mean, these are the type of disparities I think you're going to see. You know, if once more people go into Veve, this is just how collecting works, where the prices just get exponentially higher just because, you know, it's also getting more and more scarce. So this one's also kind of weird just because the uncommon is higher than the rare, which can happen, which probably just means the uncommon is just overvalued right now, or people are trying to complete comic sets. Prices have gotten shaken up a bit recently for comics because, you know, remember, I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago they announced MCP points, Master Collector points, for completing comic sets. So it's a little weird right now because there were actually a lot of people that bought like ultra rares and secret rares to complete sets. So a lot of floors on comics got pushed up the last month. All right, here we go. And actually, I think we want to use my NFT tracker because that's going to give us some actually like historical data. All right, that's not going to get us anywhere. All right. Well, we try this. Oh yeah, I forgot about the helmets. Maybe we'll talk about the helmets and the pod racers here in a little bit too, and kind of what I plan on doing with those. All right, let's see what it's at an all-time low right now. I'm also gonna look up something on my phone. All right. Okay, you got Ghost of... I will say, there's a lot of Season 1 collectibles that are pretty much all-time lows right now, including, you know, the Ghostbusters stuff. If you want to get yourself a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, you can. 11 gems. All-time high was 725, but I mean, that was 3 years ago. Dude, this comic is hilarious because I remember just a few years ago when I was first going into like comic shops, just because it was like my first time ever going in. Like I collected, you know, Veve comics first, and then there was a certain point where I was like, you know, it'd actually be kind of cool to like go to a comic shop and, you know, talk to them and, you know, mention Veve and whatever else. But but when I was in there, I asked them about this comic, Avengers 80. I'm like, oh, do you guys have like the, you know, the comic, like first appearance of like Red Wolf or whatever? And they're like, really? Like, where'd you hear about that comic? He's like, I forgot about that comic. So it's just funny. This is one of the earlier comics on Veve, and I mentioned it. I guess it's just so just forgotten about that when I mentioned it, like I only knew about it because of Veve, but when I mentioned it to like an actual like comic book collector, he was like, no one asked about that comic. Like how, you know, we're Veve fans. What's up, dude? I would like to see Veve do what Disney Pinnacle does and charge a 25-cent listing fee that is refunded after it sells. Listing fees could help prevent so much undercutting. I have no issue with undercutting. That's so weird. They have a listing fee? I didn't know that. I need to check out Disney Pinnacle. That's like the pin collecting platform, right? Like it's like the officially like Disney licensed like digital pin collecting kind of thing. I do need to check it out. I honestly got most of my information through Superstar Money's channel. I know they would talk about it occasionally, and I would kind of pay attention. I know they've kind of been gone recently. I mean, they were making daily content for like 2.5 years, so which is pretty nuts. But yeah, listing fees. I don't know. I don't like the idea of like a listing fee. I mean, if people want to undercut, so be it. I mean, if anything, I like undercutting because at least it gives people a chance to, you know, buy, you know, at lower prices and stuff. I don't know. I feel like if you add fees, it's just going to discourage people to list things. I just don't know how it. I mean, Veve gets the fees when the thing actually sells, right? So it's just. I don't mind undercutting. I'm totally laissez-faire, free market, let people do what they want. You know, reward the people that were here early and, you know, bought and believed and, you know, and then go from there. So the execu speak, the pod racer, so A, it must be animated, and B, it must have the, now this is pod racing soundbite or else no one, or else no deal. Unfortunately, I think undercutting is here to stay until there's used base growth. Right now, supply on Veve outweighs the base, so as long as that contributes to undercutting, we'll be around. Yeah, I mean, I like undercutting. I don't know. I mean, sucks when you're trying to sell, but, you know, so be it. Eventually, we're complaining about it now, but it's going to get to the point where there's not going to be a lot of listings, or if there, you know, if there is, there's going to be big gaps, or, you know, whatever it is. My Collectibles says, did anyone get the latest Addiction airdrop? I did not. I don't have the set. I am waiting on my, let's see. I'm waiting on my Planet Death airdrop. Where's that at? I got 2 sets here. Yeah, I pulled the lever on that quite a few times. Right when I saw Comics and Crypto, you know, kind of announcing, you know, Planet Death, and it's like the best-selling comic in the last like 30 years and all this stuff, and there's a lot of hype behind it. I was like, oh, okay, oh, this is a pretty big deal. And not only that, it was only $5, and, you know, instead of the usual 7 or whatever it is. So, you know, I decided to go for it. I landed one SR and then got another one probably like 5 or 6 later. But yeah, so that's kind of what I'm waiting for is the Planet Death airdrop. I know the Snapchat was like a day or two ago, or like 2 days ago. So that's what I'm excited for is the poster. But the Addiction airdrop looked pretty cool. I just didn't have the set. Like by the time it was announced, stuff already popped, and I'm like, oh, just kind of keep what I have. I'll just keep my stuff for Planet Death. Big A, what's up, dude? Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I was enjoying watching you and Informant this morning streaming, so that was fun. VV fans, MC, Ben was alright. The community hasn't heard from him since April 20th. He used to be active on a daily basis on X. Me personally, you know, whatever's going on, VV or Ben Rose or whoever's going to announce it at some point, I'm not, at least me personally, I'm not too concerned. So, I mean, the guy could just be on vacation for all we know. Like, I don't know. Maybe he's super personal with that kind of stuff. Like, I'm not sure. But, you know, whatever pans out, I'm sure hopefully we'll hear about it, you know, somewhat soon. Obviously, the community's starting to get a little concerned. But, yeah, my whole thing is, unless something super serious happens where it's going to really affect Veve something at large, and as long as the fundamentals are there and they're still growing and expanding the platform and giving what collectors want and still trying to grow and reach different communities and partnerships and, you know, all that stuff, in my opinion, everything else, it's just kind of noise to me at this point. That's also why I've just kind of taken a huge break from just kind of everything for a little bit, which was nice. I really needed that. And so I've kind of got to the point now where it's like I'm a bit more focused now on what I want, and just outside drama, all that stuff. It's like, unless, you know, something terrible happens, like I'm not too concerned, at least as of right now. But that's just me. But yeah. Group is, you know, concerned, but hopefully we'll get an answer in time. Adrian Comic says, I had all the covers, even the sorry, my cursor's covering that thing. Even the scarce comic art, N2, but I didn't think I got the screenshot. Oh, for the Addiction comic. I had all the covers, even the very scarce art, N2, but I didn't think I got the screenshot. Yeah, that's tough. The whole screenshot thing is always kind of it's difficult, right? Especially when there's like a range on it and all that kind of stuff, like a time range. I think it's like a 2-3 hour window. And yeah, I've missed airdrops too. It's like that I mentioned earlier, actually. Hinano told me about that. The airdrop with Battlestar Galactica. I remember like 4 or 5 days before it happened, I was like, yeah, I'll just buy it later, and I completely forgot, and I completely missed the airdrop. So I mean, happens to all of us. It's unfortunate, but. Hinano says, speaking of vacation, Vibes is back. How was your walkabout? It was great. Yeah, I definitely just kind of got time away from everything, and now just excited to be back and hang out with you guys, and you know, just hang out. Is that what you meant, or are you talking about something else? Speaking of, where's the... Yeah. Yeah. And it's, yeah, it was very stressful, tax season, all that stuff. That was also kind of another reason why I just, like, needed a break. Yeah, that among other things, but yeah, the whole finance, I was definitely, like, burnt out during that time. It's also like one of the most just like overworked industries or whatever. I think it's like top 2 when it comes to just general burnout. But you've been gone for a while. I figured you were on vacation. Oh, like vacation like the whole time? No. No, just focusing on work and just other things. Kind of just, you know, just going on in my life. You know, there was a period of time, yeah, just like Veve just wasn't just kind of like my top priority. I was still here. I've been hanging out and stuff, but just kind of like the mental energy and stuff it takes to, you know, set up a stream and make content and, you know, had fun with it. Just wasn't there yet. ExecuSpeak. Yeah, I have a buddy of mine who's a CPA from about March 15th, April 16th. He's a ghost, yeah. But for us, it starts much sooner because, you know, once tax forms go out, then people are, you know, on us, like the firms, you know, if there's a mistake or if they don't understand what's on it or whatever it is. So for us, it's pretty much from, you know, it's the full like 4 or 5 months once the year starts. For the most part. Okay, so is this, can I go back a page? Okay, here's the blog page. Which I do like. I finally bookmarked this page because I always had, it was such a pain to find it like through all their X posts and stuff like that. So all right, so I'm like, I finally bookmarked this page. So I can easily get to the blog pages. Let's talk. Which one happens first? The helmets or the pod racers? Let's just do the pod racers. So this is my first time really taking a hard look at it. To be honest, I knew there was like a platform you could craft for free, but like mint numbers, all that stuff, it's all new to me. Let's actually put on the video. Can you guys hear that? Pretty cool. Dude, I really want the pit droids. All right, now we're pod racing. Let's see. There's a little animation in the middle. Oh yeah, they have the diorama too. That's pretty cool. These are pretty cool. Gascano's pod racer, pit droid, secret rare. I don't know. How do you guys feel? I feel like I will say at a certain point, I felt like I was turning my head to read what was on the side right there. So I'm like, wait, whose pod racer is that? So Bulba's. So Bulba's one actually looks really cool. I don't remember this one all that much. And then the pit droid, there he is. This could be a grail. I don't think people realize how important the pit droids were in Star Wars. So I have Anakin's pod racer. I think this one's gonna do pretty well. Actually, the vehicles, kind of forgot. I looked at the bit numbers. For some reason, I thought it was $9.99, so it's 2,000. I will say the free base is nice. I do think Star Wars Episode 1, it's a lot of people's, it's not my favorite Star Wars, but it's definitely the most memeable Star Wars. Like the original trilogy was great, peak storytelling, classic, but the prequels, the meme potential, and I think a lot of people, I mean, a lot of people saw Episode 1, right? I think most people have. Adrian Comics says, or actually, let me turn this back on. There we go. I was wondering, I'm like, it sounds quiet. What do you think about the challenge? How many do you think will have full points at the end? You know what? That's actually, let me look at that a little bit later. I haven't really kept up with the points at all, to be honest. I probably should have made like a checklist and just kind of just do it every day and see what happens. But doesn't technically the person with like the highest rank or something like that gets number 1? So that was kind of my thing. I didn't even, it's not so much like, mostly I was just kind of lazy to not just do it every single daily. But a big part of it too was just like, all right, even if I tie with someone, like I'm just gonna lose if they have like more stuff than me. But I really like the challenge aspect. I really hope at some point Veve implements a like MCP store, where they have a handful of, you know, Veve exclusive NFTs, or not NFTs, but, you know, the digital collectibles, but the Veve license, right? They could do their own stuff. I mean, if they want other people to, you know, independent artists or something like that, but have like an MCP store and just have like a couple of items that are worth like, you know, 1 million MCP, kind of give whales a kind of like a point sink that they can, you know, spend their MCP points on instead of just waiting for a grail drop every quarter. Every so often. I mean, Veve does more than, you know, one grail drop a quarter, I would say. But, you know, some are better than others. It just depends on their timeline. Do you know maybe why Star Wars and Disney don't promote Veve drops? Yeah, it's beyond me. Contract stuff, still legislation, all that stuff is not very clear on crypto, let alone anything digital collectible wise. So, yeah, that's probably why, I would assume. And plus, if they start publicly promoting it, there's already just a huge stigma against like crypto, digital, you know, NFTs, all that stuff. So, and it's going to take a long time for the framework and all that stuff to like be safe, understandable, digestible by like the public at large. So, yeah, I think I like Veve because it does appeal to like the newer person, right? Like you don't have to have some like crazy cold storage wallet with the seed phrase and hope you don't lose it, or that this project gets like rugged or anything like that. Like it's safe. It's in a, walled garden, all that stuff. So that's why I like Veve, among other things. The IPs, all that stuff, like no one even comes close. All right. Darth Jar Jar Grail for the win. Yeah, see, Pixel Trader and Execu Speak both want Jar Jar. That's really what we want. We just want Jar Jar in Star Wars. You guys have heard of the Darth Jar Jar, what's it called? Not myth, but the theory, right? You guys heard the Darth Jar Jar theory? If you haven't, just Google it, YouTube it, whatever. For whatever reason, I will say vehicles just have not done very well, and I think Veve's learning. I will say, like, if Veve does want to sell more dioramas, I think they should just make them like 5 or 10 gems. I'm not sure if, I know like the goal isn't to always sell out all the dioramas, but if we want people to like play with these environments and interact with their favorite IPs and stuff like that, how much are the dioramas on here? Are they free? I know the platforms are free, but oh, this is free. Lots of stuff to craft. So what do you need for this one? Okay, at least, yeah, these ones are free. Like I said, this is my first time looking at this thing. Oh, what? I really want the pit droid. Why do you guys have to have less pit droids than pod racers? Let me stack. Maybe let me have an army of pit droids. No, this is very good. Honestly, this is great. Take back what I said. I for some reason, I think it's the previous dioramas I'm thinking about. I could have sworn some of them were like 20 gems or something like that, or maybe it's because they're always craftable, but no, there's a section on Veve that will let you look at the like craft stuff. Are the dioramas usually free? Running editions, rarity. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe I'm just completely misremembering. So are the dioramas usually free? But it's free, but you have to have the collectible typically, right? Right, like right now I'm trying to find the... Yeah, those are all crafts. I don't know where the Beskar ingots there. It's weird. Yeah, like these one. I remember these were free. So these platforms were free. All right, maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, maybe the... Okay, what about this? Like this diorama. Was this... Well, this wasn't really considered like a diorama. Let me just look up the dioramas. Okay, like this one. Okay, this one was 20 gems. Okay, like these kind of stuff. Okay, I thought I was going insane for a second. I'm like, wait, have all the dioramas always been free and I've been just kind of like complaining for no reason? Like these ones, I do think the dioramas in general should be much cheaper if they want people to actually like buy and play with these environments. I'm trying to remember like Flo's Cafe. Let me see. ExecuSpeak says, if your pod racer breaks and there's not enough pit droids, shaking my head. Yeah, I know. There should be less pit droids, but I mean, let us just stack pit droids, dude. Yeah, like this one, same thing, 20 gems. I think this was like one of the first dioramas, so it did do really well. Yeah, it's like pretty much half sold, maybe a little bit less. But the other dioramas, not so much. But yeah, let me look at the... Okay, so those are free. This one is free. What do you need for this one? To be eligible to craft, you'll need to hold any 3 digital collectibles from Star Wars Vehicle 6 Pod Racers series. No digital collectible will be burned during the process with store purchases only. The cost of the digital collectible is included in the purchase of Star Wars 6. Okay. Hold any 3 digital collectible. Okay. So... And this is blind box, right? Is this blind box? Okay, so this is blind. So this is dropping in a blind box format, meaning when you buy it, you have no clue what you're gonna get. The fact that you get the diorama once you buy 3, it kind of makes me want to just buy 3. Because that diorama is pretty cool, I will say. I do like Tatooine. I do like this little diorama set. Part of me also wants to just wait in the secondary market, but I also want the pit droid, so we'll see. I'll have to play this one by ear. It depends on how successful I get on like the Grogu drop and some of the other things and how much I spend on those. So that's really what's going to determine what I go for or not. But I really like Veve's idea of if you get 3, you get the diorama for free, right? In addition to that, if you do get the pod racers, you also get the platforms for free too, as well. And for whatever reason you do want to sell both of these, at least you can sell the pod racer and the platform separately. Platforms are going to be super cheap, right? They're free, so people might just put them for a couple gems or just 1 gem, but we'll see. But these are... Let's kind of look at the mint numbers and stuff really quick. I know I've been kind of jumping around. So, Anakin's Pod Racer. I do think this one will do well. Weirdly enough, I feel like... So, 2,000... Another 2,000, so we're at 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 6,500 mints. At 30 gems. I think there'll be a good amount that sells, but I'm not sure if this will sell out necessarily, especially if Veve announces like a big airdrop or something that happens with like the Beskar ingots or something like that, because that happens too. Like we've had it happen before where we're hyped for a drop that like hasn't happened yet or it's so far ahead, and then Veve will announce something like a day or two before, and then people just ignore it because they're more excited for the next thing, which sometimes happens. So it could happen, but it's just so hard with the vehicles. Vehicles just haven't done amazing, but who knows? I mean, once Veveverse expands out, things like that, and people want to do more sets, that could work out. Whichever guy has those 1,000 stormtroopers needs to get an army of pit droids and have them fight. Yeah, dude, that reminds me of Battlefront, right? I remember we used to do the hunt mode or whatever, and you would like shoot the Ewoks or the Gungans or whatever it was. So it's it's just hunt mode, except it's just stormtroopers and pit droids. Yeah. What's your latest purchase or next purchase, you think? That's a good question. Well, my next like purchase in the market is just going to be Grogu. So if you're talking like just straight up from the, I should say straight up from the store, it's probably going to be Grogu. I don't think there's any more drops until then, right? We don't have anything tomorrow. We don't have, and then the drop's going to be Saturday. Yeah, yeah, see. So yeah, store wise, I'm I'm gonna try and get Mando, Grogu, and the armor. I'm gonna get all three of these. And if for whatever reason I just completely whiff or I just don't get either of these two, I'm gonna try and get the rare versions. You know, if the secret rares are just like astronomically priced or you know whatever they do. And plus, it's only 20 gems, so that's how I'm personally gonna play it. And then as for the market, let's see what's low. Yeah, we're already here. Let me reload this and see if like prices have changed or just stuff has like moved around. Maybe a Stay Puffed. I don't know. Sometimes I do, if something is cheap enough and I do see it's at an all-time low, sometimes I'll just snag one, you know. I think there's actually a lot of Web of Spider-Man's first appearance of Scarlet Spider. There's a lot of mints of it, 30,000. Let's see. Ooh, is this? Okay, yeah, Daredevil. How many mints? Yeah, another 30,000 mint. Man, some of these covers are really cool. I'll say this is just a cool cover in general for just one gem. Like a 1.2 gems. That's an uncommon. Amazing Spider-Man 798. Yeah, I would say once a day I kind of just cruise on here and I see what's at an all-time low. Really, this one? I guess it's because it's got 30,000. How did the Strange Academy comic pan out? I feel like I kind of like buy some of these comics because I've kind of heard like they're a spec play or like they're going to do a show or going to do a this or that. Part of me kind of wants to like just look up some of these comics in real life and just see what they're doing. Yeah, we're kind of at that point now. Like I said, the disparity time where just like in real life, you know, there's a whole lot of comics worth, you know, less than $5, and there are comics worth more, you know, than like $50. So we're kind of at the point now where it's like, all right, a lot of comics are at 1 or lower. Wow, dude, this thing's at 50 gems. I guess there are a lot of secret rares, 600. But wow. Not the first appearance of Captain America. It's his first appearance like in the Avengers when he like joins the team. Yeah, dude, this thing was just a couple months ago. It was over 100. Now it's like half the price. Hulk. First appearance. I think that's Abomination. Yeah, I think that one was like a 12,000. Is that a 15K? 20K comic? Don't really remember. Zeki Speak, still doing stuff with EVE Online. This is about the time every 12 months I think about getting into it. You know what's funny? You mentioned it. I thought about it. Maybe, I don't know. I have a couple friends picking up WoW again, so I'm not trying to kind of split my time between those two. I haven't even played that much WoW either. I haven't really played like a ton of video games recently, but we'll see. I will say, like, I do. Yeah, that other channel actually I still get a little bit of revenue from it, like every month or every other month or something like that. Like I actually do get paid out. So, and I think I'm still like in the Discord with like my old corporation and all that stuff. So I mean, if I wanted to jump back in, I'm sure they would just welcome me and I could just jump right back into it and make content again. But it's just everything in that game just takes so long. Maybe just start like a free to play account and kind of like fly around a bit, see if you really want to do it. Like really try to remind yourself why you left in the first place, and then you'll remember. But it does take forever to get anywhere. And if you do play and you want to it's not so much like take it seriously, but it's like if you want to feel like you're not wasting your time constantly, then yeah, you want to join like a group or corporation, and yeah, they'll show you the ropes. But yeah, that's a game I think I'm still scaling my character up because I got a bunch of free months of like free Omega or whatever it's called. Anyway, one day. R2D2, this one, getting pretty low. Down to 82 during Star Wars month. Man, the disrespect that R2D2 is getting. It's hard. I mean, maybe people have a few of these, or people just want the new stuff, right? Star-Lord. Quite a few Star-Lord comics at an all-time low. Some Veve logos here. dude. These are... Veve logo, white, blue. Man, these logos have gotten pretty cheap. I wonder if Vivi's going to do anything with those logos later on. I don't know. Let's just stick with the collectibles. I just want to see what the collectibles are doing. Comics are kind of like getting in the way. Kate Bishop at 20 gems, all-time low. I don't know how many of her are left. Oh gosh, don't look. Hey, if MC keeps getting cheaper, I'm gonna buy a stack of MCs, and people aren't gonna know what's coming. I will say that is really cool to have a digital collectible named after you. So, him, BB Magic, Corey, like, I mean, that was kind of like, I remember, probably not just me and him specifically, but we used to joke around with each other. I don't know if the community did, like, a long time ago, like, oh, will you guys make you know, digital collectibles of like content creators or other people? Like, I don't know, maybe. I know it's not Veve directly, but like Veve helped facilitate this, which is, you know, pretty cool. So I do want to get the team at some point. And this stuff hasn't even dropped yet, so. Go back here. All right. We'll check a couple more things and then might call. Like I said, this was more of just like a test stream. I might watch back a little bit and just kind of like sounds, colors, all that stuff. I do want to add like another light source over here to the right, just so it kind of like illuminate that wall a little bit more, make it a tiny bit easier to see. But yeah, oh yeah, the helmets. Let's talk about the helmets really quick. Let's go back here. I will say this one looks pretty cool too. This is the guy that I think he his like vehicle exploded at the beginning or something like that. He didn't even like get to start his engines, or if that was someone else. Yeah, I think it was this guy. Didn't even get a chance. Anyway. Okay, is this the helmet one? For some reason they have like two articles for two different helmet ones. Okay, so this is for the craft. Interesting. So this is one you could just play the drop. So the helmet, like number 4, 10 gems. I like the price point. Ew, the helmet. I like that one. I have not really looked at this one. There's a craft at the bottom of this, right? Sort of season 2 helmet. Okay. Okay, so this is a separate drop where the helmet actually opens up in the inside. I have a weird feeling about this one. Are they ever going to burn these? I don't know. Star Wars is very shy about burning stuff. I don't think Star Wars is... I think the IP Star Wars has actually never burned anything. They've always kind of just done the drop and leave it. Marvel is the one... I've kind of told people this before. It's like, but if you're kind of like banking on like your thing getting burned or some sort of like craft mechanic or whatever. I mean, Star Wars and Disney do crafts too, but I think Marvel seems to be more open-minded about actually like burning stuff. They're constantly burning stuff. Vehicles and equipment just haven't done great. I think I'm going to go for Mando and maybe grab the others from secondary. That's kind of my plan too. I might go for like this one. I do think this one's like really unique. There's been like a lot of like Veve like articles and interviews saying like this is the first time that like Lucasfilm has ever like approved like the inner workings or like equipment of like a stormtrooper helmet and all that stuff, and they helped with stuff, and you know, this is all approved. So I don't know what it is, but I feel like there is something kind of tied to this helmet that I do want to get a few of them. I might go for like 1 or 2 on the drop, and then if people are flooring them for really cheap, I might get a few more. But we'll see. And then this, okay, do you have to have the helmets? Okay, this is something different. Okay, this is where you actually burn the collectible and then you get a whole different one altogether. So if you happen to have the Dark Lord Sith, is that the common or uncommon? I feel like that's got to be the common Lord, right? Dark Lord. Okay, yeah, it is the common. which did go up in price a little bit when they announced that. Also, I gotta get rid of this. Oh. 501. Oh yeah, this one is gonna be interesting. Only 5 gems for this one, but this one isn't a blind box, right? No, okay, okay, these are the burns. Okay, I thought this was like a separate thing. All right, yeah, so you have to have a Jawa for this one and some of the others. I think the ones that are going to go for the most are the Vader and the Rancor, right? Those are the 2 more expensive, burns. For the most part, I think the helmets are going to sell for whatever the market price was or whatever the person paid for the collectible that they're burning for. So Jawas are probably going to be really cheap, right? People are going to try and sell them for like 10 gems because it's like 5 gems for the burn. And then they might have picked up the Jawa for like 3 in the secondary. So like people might try and sell them for like between 10 to 15, or could go lower. Maybe people are just burning them, burning their terrible mint Jawa to hope for maybe a better mint Stormtrooper helmet. I mean, that might be worth it, right? I kind of like the idea of, burning a collectible that you're just not a big fan of the mint of and just getting a whole new thing, and potentially getting a better mint, right? You can get like a 2-digit or something like that. I've always kind of liked that aspect of it. So I hope they have kind of like more stuff like this. But I like to see it, these types of crafts like only happen like in a narrow window and, and or have a burn involved. So that way there's a little bit of urgency. Darth Jar Jar would be hilarious. He's in Fortnite now. He is? Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all. Fortnite is all over the place. And they definitely, Epic Games, all that stuff, they really helped with the whole getting Apple, to remove their whole, like, just gouging everyone 30% fees on any transactions on their platform. That's something a Darth Jar Jar would do, right? 30% fees on everything? That's ridiculous. Glad they got rid of Darth Jar Jar. I really, do you believe in my collectibles? Do you really think George Lucas's intent was to make Darth Jar Jar, and like the whole fandom just like completely crapped on Jar Jar and like he was just like, all right, I can't do this? Or do you think Count Dooku and all that stuff was the plan from the beginning? Because Dooku came out of nowhere. I don't know. I'm a believer in Darth Jar Jar and no one can change my mind. That is my one like conspiracy theory. Yeah, Rancor is going to do very well. What's the lowest Rancor's ever been? Rancor. Okay, so Rancor's going for 55 right now, but what was it going for a week ago before they announced the burn craft? It was going for 28 gems, and then it flew up to 55, so basically doubled in price. And it's been holding ever since, people might FOMO buy a few more at 55, but I doubt it. It's just so weird how 9 listings and then it jumps up to 15. Yeah. Actually, will Stacker have that information? Let me see. We can actually see the transactions if we go on Stacker. See, this is why I like Stackers. This is why I feel like I have to jump between 3 different websites to get all the information, because like one doesn't show like the actual transaction history, but one will show like the market history a bit easier, while the other one can show like the current market most accurately. Recent, okay, analytics. I think this is it, yeah. Also, how many? Okay, so there's 1,000 of these in circulation. I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I could burn my Rancor for a helmet. It's just so cool looking. And it's also a collectible, you spent, almost 30 bucks on. It's a cool look, and it's animated too, I believe. It's animated, right? Rancor. Can I not? Oh, I guess I can't see if it's animated. I could have sworn it was animated. Is there a way to tell? I honestly don't remember if this is animated or not. No, it doesn't say animated, so maybe it's not. All right. Ooh, someone got level 100. Dude, this is happening more and more often. I'm seeing too. Garnet 21k. That's cool. Yeah, I wonder how many people are BB level 100. I wonder if BB's ever going to increase the cap at some point, or start doing what's it called? What do they call it in COD? Prestige levels or Paragon levels. If you're playing like Diablo, it's like you just hit max level, but you can just like keep going, and you just kind of keep getting like a 1, then a 2. The number just kind of keeps counting up. I think that would be a good kind of middle ground. You still maintain the level 100, but there's almost like a counter that kind of keeps counting levels. You know, every so many levels, it just kind of keeps counting. That way, there's kind of a way to differentiate. Or maybe Veve can just number the people that hit level 100, right? Whoever hit level 100 first is 1, and then 2, 3, 4, it just kind of keeps going. But at the same time, then, you know, what are you going to do if someone, you know, sells their whole account, or they're no longer, you know, master collector? But I mean, I think once you hit level 100, you can't really lose that spot, I believe. I could be wrong. But yeah, so the helmets, it's cheap buy-in, 5 gems, right? But I'm just not sure how many Rancor helmets and Vaders are going to be available. There's going to be, you know, there's going to be quite a few of the of the Skywalkers and the Jawas, just because the box price of those were so cheap, and people were buying these in the market for 2 or 3 gems at one point. So I think these other 2 helmets down here will probably go for, we'll see. I'm not sure. Part of me wants to say like around 10 or less than 10. But these ones up here, it just really depends on what people bought them for, especially Vader. Some people bought their Vaders for much more than, you know, what it was worth a week ago. Same thing with the Rancors. All right, I'm gonna hop off in a couple minutes unless you guys want to talk about something or have me look up something. Yeah, this was mostly just kind of a test stream. You know, I'm all set up with my new place. I might want to buy new lights and stuff, but yeah, I want to start hanging out with you guys, talking Veve, talking other stuff too. Do want to talk, you know, a little bit about crypto, other platforms too. You know, I do want to talk about candy and stuff at some point, because honestly, the better all projects do. You know, it's kind of like tide rises, you know, all ships kind of thing. So let's see here. Another thing I want to check. Any like new announcements or anything from Veve? The addiction airdrop. As the addiction airdrop happened, I'm kind of waiting for my Planet Death airdrop to hit. ExecuSpeak, I gotta head out too. Great to see you streaming again. Yeah, thanks ExecuSpeak, and thanks for staying sub, dude, for 38 months. That is wild. So thank you so much for being there from the beginning and staying there. So I think that is a good note to head on. So I hope you guys take care, and again, try not to miss list anything. So like double and triple check all of your listings so you don't screw yourself over. And I'll see you guys later. Take care.